we've got it all masked off. And as per usual, I probably overdid it. But I am pretty sure now that we'll be able to spray at a 45-degree angle down, not catch the deck, and yet catch all the little edges. And as I'm speaking to you right now, yesterday's episode, number 155, is still being processed by YouTube. In other words, it's afternoon, sort of mid-afternoon, I guess you'd say. And I've already previewed episode 155 to make sure everything was okay. And I was realizing that I said something that wasn't 100% true. In fact, I don't think it's true at all. I was being paranoid about something that I probably didn't need to be. And when we take this apart to clean it, we'll talk about that. And if I forget to talk about it, remind me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most of you have already figured out that each one of these episodes is made the late afternoon of the day before, as well as the morning of the day. It works out best for me. I'll sometimes work away at it till, as late as maybe 9 in the evening. I just do a little and then go do something else, and then I'll do a little more on the episode and then do something else. That's the way it goes. We have very little paint to waste here. I don't want to be picking up any chunks, but you never know. That's probably all there is. That paint does not look too healthy. Noticing on the inside of the pipette there, it looks kind of, I don't know. Well, we'll try it. It's probably not the best paint, that's for sure, to use to try this thing out for the first time. We'll see what happens here. Well, let's get the fan going. Yeah, the pressure's at about 13 pounds. Increase the pressure. Well, that was 20 pounds. I got a feeling I've already plugged the nozzle. That's 30 pounds. We're back down to 20. Alright, I'm going to clean up the airbrush. I'm going to get some different paint. And yeah, but it won't spray at 20. back up to 30. Well, it's not very thick. Well, I'm going to save this in case I have to brush it on. Now this trick that I'm using right now, Tony recommended this, and I have found that it really saves a lot on the on your cleaning solution. It's getting pretty clear. I'll just do it one more time. Probably don't need to, but no, this is isopropyl. Isopropyl 70%. Okay. Just going to get the thick stuff off, and I like to try and make this last as long as I can. All right, so here's what I do. We're going to loosen this very gently. Okay, pull this back just a little. I'm going to take this cap off. Very, very gently so nothing gets twisted. Okay. Each time I do this, I try to turn the needle just a little bit so I'm wiping a fresh area each time. Now offhand I'd say that's probably pretty clean, except for where I'm touching it. Now be very careful I don't accidentally bend it. This is clean, by the way. This thing I've vacuumed it out. Okay. And when I put the airbrush down inside there, I'm always very careful that I'm not accidentally dropping it on top of the nozzle. The nozzle always seems to go to one side. Oh, it's hard on the ears. No, I usually do that 3 or 4 times, what you just saw me do. Now, the inside of the nozzle here, I've actually cleaned it out a little bit. It's, for the lack of a better expression, it was kind of sludgy in there. In fact, it's probably the worst I've ever seen. So I am convinced that I was getting, lumps of paint down in there, and no wonder it didn't want to spray. Yeah, I guess that jar of paint has had its day, so. Okay, I think the isopropyl bath got it pretty good. What I'm doing now is I'm putting it in the first bath of this stuff here. As I mentioned before, I do what I feel is a pretty good job of cleaning everything up. However, I'm not going to worry about painting the superstructure part gray anymore. I'm just going to concern myself with getting this thing going. But right now it's going on for 8 o'clock in the evening, and as I mentioned before, yeah, so I'm just going to clean this up and work at it again tomorrow. Put all the parts, at least the nozzle parts, in the final solution of this stuff, and I'm just going to let them soak overnight. In all the many times that I've taken this airbrush apart, this is probably only the 4th time that I've completely disassembled it. Now, it's not completely disassembled. I didn't take the air valve out of here, and this air valve is very similar to the air valve that's in your car. Now you're probably seeing this little end here and you're thinking you push on that to open the valve. No, it works the other way. This little piece right here it goes down into a sleeve and then pushes down on the valve and opens it. And the reason I don't do this is because it's difficult to get this little part into that little hole. Sometimes it'll go good and sometimes it won't. So I avoid doing it at all cost. However, the reason that I have taken this apart is because some of the information I gave you in excuse me, in yesterday's video was not too accurate. I was talking about how I would have to be careful to make sure that I have this piece here screwed all the way in tight. Well, that wasn't true. And I'm going to try and reassemble everything and show you why. Yeah, what else can I tell you about this? This part here, this little quick connect, that's an aftermarket thing. The airbrush does not come with that. And what happens is, the idea is so that you can screw this onto your airbrush, and then of course this piece here can be just, quickly put on. This part here has a little valve in it, goes on the end of your air hose. Anyway, what else can I tell you about this I didn't tell you? The nozzle parts are all still in the solution. Now, the purpose of this segment is not to show you how to put together an Iwata airbrush. It is simply, I want to tell you where I went wrong about this piece here. Now, I guess I could have shown you putting this little main lever in place here. It actually went pretty good this time. You notice when you press down on it, it opens the valve. Okay, now this piece is going to go in here. And try not to get my hands in the way. Okay, goes in here. The spring goes on here. Now, this is where I went wrong yesterday. I had thought that I had to have this screwed up all the way in order that it doesn't accidentally force the needle into the nozzle and enlarge the hole. However, that has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter. Right now, this is going to stay in the same position regardless of where this part is. In other words, once I put the chucking nut on there and clamp it down on the needle, that's this part right here, it's going to stay. It's not going to go in any further, in other words. As soon as I release the valve, all that's going to happen by tightening this up is you're going to put more tension on the spring, which in turn might be a bad thing if there was a little bit of play right here. I think you might remember yesterday I was saying something about I might accidentally push forward on this if it wasn't already all the way forward, and I was to push forward on it and the chucking nut was locked down on the needle. It could force the tip of the needle into the hole of the nozzle and enlarge it. Using a lot of words here to say something that's actually quite simple. So anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to correct. It doesn't matter if this is all the way in or not. Screwing this all the way in only makes the spring, the tension of the spring, very noticeably tighter. So I'm thinking that in all likelihood, it probably would be a good idea not to have it all the way in. Just keep it just enough to move the needle. Anyway, I just wanted to correct that. So I'll bet you some of you can remember having read this in yesterday's comments. Very gently now. And yes, Winnipeg does have emergency vehicles. Okay. Now I'm not going to do this too tight. Just probably 2-3 times tighter than I can do it with my fingers. That's probably why this little wrench is kind of short. Keeps you from, putting a lot of torque on there. Very, very gently. I'm holding this extremely loosely, so if it's not lined up, I'm not going to bend anything. that the right way? Yeah. Okay. Now, what I've done with this, I could probably screw it in another, excuse me, another 1/4 of an inch. But I'm just going to take it in, so that it sort of just disappears. And that feels about right. I'm just going to make sure that the lever is all the way to the front. Now, if you remember, we've cleaned this off nice and clean. Now, doing it this way actually does lubricate the packing screw a lot better than doing it my way. And actually, that's kind of important. We don't want to force anything here. You know what? Maybe I should put the nut on. It'll be a lot easier to get it started. Keep it loose. Whoops. I'm holding it so loose, I'm not really holding it. Okay. Now, we're just gonna, well, you won't be able to see it, but I'll be able to feel it. Now that should be it. Okay, not pushing, I just stopped as soon as I felt it. Okay, put the macro lens on and we'll check this again. Well, we got a problem. If I don't run this in at least the distance of those threads, I can't get this handle on. At least I know I don't need to worry about you know, hurting anything. This is already locked in place. See if that's enough. Yeah, that feels about right. You can tell it's come up against the O-ring. Well, like I say, we'll put the macro lens on and see what we can see here. Looks okay to me. I cannot see any reason now why this shouldn't paint. It's squeaky clean, new nozzle. Yeah, I think I'm going to go to the hobby store and get some more paint. Well, I'm back. And it's a beautiful day here. I didn't even need the air conditioner in the car. Okay, so I got 3 whites and 1 black. I got this black left over from the last trip out there. I think I should be able to mix up all the gray I'm going to need now for the rest of the build. And if I don't have enough, well, good thing this stuff's not expensive. I'm mixing up my new batch of light gray here, and I think it's pretty close. I won't know until it's dry. Anyway, while I'm doing that, I hear my mailbox rattle. And I go and open it, and I've got a little package here. Whatever's in it is a little bit on the heavy side, at least heavy for the size of the box. So I think tomorrow, we're, among other things, as well as trying out this paint, we're going to have a package opening. Yeah. Anyway, getting kind of late here. Video's getting kind of long. So thanks for watching. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.